close here so more people get in the shade. Remember I said back in the lecture hall that we have this corridor mentality about public space, that it's about moving people through. And I often joke the one way to get people to run through your lounge room is to move all of the furniture to the walls and then paint white lines on the carpet to tell people where they should go. Now here is an absolute classic example of what I'm saying. If you turn around now and look at the space that you just walked through, what is dominating this space? What's the message that we're sending to people? We've used a bunch of bollards, which are a traffic artefact, a corridor artefact, to divide the space right through the middle. It's like painting white lines on your carpet at home. Let me be radical here. You know what I would do with this space that would come alive? Take the bollards out and let the traffic drive wherever the bloody hell it likes. What those bollards are saying to every car that drives through here is, you know exactly where you should be driving, this is your space, go as fast as you possibly can. If those bollards weren't there and the cars just had to find their way through, they would be going half the speed that they are currently going, because they'd be trying to work out what are the rules of engagement here. Because what it does is it creates uncertainty, which slows everybody down and everything down, and creates a sense of vibrant mix happening in the place. If you do want to direct the traffic where they should go, then use stuff that is there to facilitate life. You understand what I'm saying? There could be some seating, a garden.
There used to be a fountain right there.
I think that any civic heart without water in it has a major deficit. Water is where people go to reflect, and it's really, really important to have those reflective spaces. It's also a space that children interact with. And that's the other thing, is what's happening here is you have a natural sense that you want to get through this as quickly as possible. You want to get either to the other side, to the mall area, or over to here. And it's a sense that this is almost a no man's land in the middle, and yet this could be a wonderful outdoor plaza kind of area. Traditionally, this would have been, in a European village context, this would have been the original town square, and then it gets converted to a traffic intersection with traffic lights, and what they're now doing is going in and taking out all of the traffic artefacts altogether and turning them back into town squares, but still letting the traffic go through. But as I said, the traffic just has to find its own way through. So let's move on. So this would be a prime candidate for people yelling out for it to be pedestrianised. That's the last thing I would do. Now, for starters, we've got a piece in the middle of this road that never gets used other than for people to go and stand on as a refuge while they're crossing the road. Think about what we could be creatively doing with that space, just as a starter. Why are we treating this as just a linear corridor? How could we break this up into a series of rooms? We've got a lovely bend at this end, just down here, which is a natural point for an entryway. So how could you break this up into a series of rooms? I know this is radical, but think about the idea. What would happen if you had just really short sections along here of the equivalent of a one-lane bridge, where you're not saying you're not reducing it to one way, but what you're saying is work it out for yourself. Somebody's going to have to let the other one go through here. Now, look at how much space you've got to create something really, really fascinating. The other thing I really encourage you to do is you are going to have to work with your merchants, as I said, until they are psychologically reclaiming this space. Then anything the city does is just cosmetics. It's just spending money on the space trying to make it work. And unless they're involved in building the diversity of the experience, that micro level experience, then all the money you've spent, as we talked about down there, just getting them to put a funky chair outside of their shop is going to do more for this street than spending $10 million pedestrianising it. Getting them to open their toilets up. All of those kinds of little things are the things that will build the quality of the experience here and create a point of difference.
There are small spaces and there are big spaces, and so where do you start?
Good point. I mean, if you take a walk down the street, you will find spaces all over the place that are underutilised. And as was pointed out, if you look across the road here, just standing here, we'd have probably come up with 500 things that could go between those bollards and the brown posts that are an activity zone, activity things that kids would love to interact with. So that's what I call your low-hanging fruit plan. You just go through and find those. You don't have to do anything except put something in there. Where are all the areas of the low-hanging fruit? Okay, we'll go down to the, I think we're going down to the wishing tree, are we? Is that the story?
Yeah, go that way.
All right, which is down here.
It's okay, because it gives you more headspace to do something else.
I hope to see you sometime in the future. More hot boys, yeah.
This is how we're detecting it.
Went really well, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome up to that because the US company and they got closed down by the US brand. Welcome on all them stone. Pretty good, Linda. What do you reckon? My thinking more and more around the terrace is what we need to do is not eliminate traffic altogether. Perhaps make it one way, slow it right down, create more active spaces. But I think the vast majority of the time, traffic actually does add that sense of movement and energy to the place. And I think David's right when he says that you've got to be really careful about closing streets because you lose the buzz. I think I give it to